CYC is a free channel, presents the Word of God for everyone. Your support will help us to continue the mission. Visit our website, cycnow.com. Even $1 will make a difference.
Questions, and then we have 2 more things to go over very quickly, and we'll conclude. So does anyone have questions for the panel in any of the fields?
Regarding pre-law, is when you were talking about how the economy, like for jobs, is bad right now, so is it for all fields of law or just?
Yeah, pretty much.
Thank you.
Yeah. But like I said, I mean, I don't know if it's going to change by the time you guys get out of law school, but at this point it is. Hopefully, people are opening up smaller law firms now. Hopefully by that time they're going to grow and need more associates to help out. But at this point, it's not great. But you guys have a long way to go, so who knows by the time you guys.
On the other hand, I know that, you know, from people that I know, that lawyers are very high educated, and some companies would love to get somebody like that working for them, maybe not necessarily in their field of law that they want to practice, but they can have very good jobs in that, and it might not be the job that you want, but it's a good job. Is that correct?
That is correct. Like I said, there aren't non-traditional jobs that you could always do, and having a law degree and under your belt is so valuable to wherever you're going to work eventually, and it puts you at a different level than most. Even if you're going to go take on a corporate job or a finance job or some other type of real estate job, it really puts you at a different level and a different pay grade and everything, but it's just another avenue for the non-traditional if you can't, you know, find the right job right out of law school.
Another question.
I'm sorry?
I don't know where I am going. He's still in 12th grade and he has to apply for college next month and he doesn't know where he is going. It's not just one or two, I hear it from many. So how do you deal with this situation?
Well, I think that from my experience, it seems that if somebody's still undecided and it's coming to the point where you need to apply for college, because let's face it, if you don't go to college, you're probably not going to have a good career in anything. So, one of the things is that there needs to be probably a discussion, I would imagine a discussion at home between the parents, between the kids, try to figure out what is it that you like, what are the parts of school that are interesting to you, what kind of career do you think you can see yourself having in the future. I think there really needs to be a discussion between the 11th and 12th graders who are getting ready to apply with their parents. I think that's the best and really the only way to be able to figure that out. On the other hand, you know, when I'm in 10th, 11th, 12th grade, I really need to start to think about what am I going to do for the rest of my life, because you know, God bless our parents, but we can only rely on our parents for so long, and eventually you need to become an independent person. So you need to figure out how is it that you're going to sustain your life, how is it that you're going to become, how are you going to give back to the community around you, and I think there might be other ideas here.
That's why also we're doing this over here, so that you guys can all see what we do, and if you have any questions on the side, I mean, this doesn't end over here. We're all here for you guys. If you have any questions, if you're going down this, you guys come ask us whenever. So I think the answer comes down to what do you see yourself enjoying doing, what are you good at, and then questions amongst people that you know. And the other big thing is it's very important to shadow. If someone's interested in dental, you could come ask me, okay, I think I want to be a dentist. Can I maybe watch you or watch somebody or get an idea to see if I really want to do this on a day out? And of course, internet and research and everything else on your part. So it all comes together with multi pieces that once together, it'll help you make your decision.
And just to add to that, you know, the only one that really, I mean, you can have a lot of, and parents, don't get upset with me here, but ultimately the decision of what direction you want to go into is something that is up to you, based upon your interests, like what Shadi was saying, but also to ask yourself and assess your own interests and ask yourself, how do I choose the right career? How do I make these decisions? You know, find what job factors, what skills that you have, that you possess. There's so many different exams and tests and assessments to ask yourself what, you know, field that these skills can be applied to. So it's really important to ask yourself these questions. You know, as much as you want to, you know, you might be interested, but to know where your interests currently are, to know what skill sets you currently possess, and then from that point, see which careers that aligns with, you know. So if you're good with talking and communicating, see what other types of careers talking, communicating can get. If you're good with your hands and you're handy, see what types of careers. Handy, you know, being a surgeon could ultimately be as a result from something being handy. Or, you know, asking yourself these questions and assessing and knowing yourself is very important in asking yourself this decision.
Okay, thank you, Chris and Shirley. Any other questions? Michael just wants to mention one thing.
Okay, for those who are seniors and are going to be applying into some kind of medical field, I really recommend that you really apply to several locations. It's better to be accepted in more than one place and have the decision in your hand than to be like, no, I'm just applying to 2 schools. Apply and get accepted or get rejected. It's not a big deal if you get rejected. I've gotten rejected from places, but I also got accepted. And then make your decision. If you're looking into pre-med, also apply for pharmacy. You guys, they're like cousins. Sorry. But they're very close. They're still in the science field. Apply for pharmacy. If you're going to apply for pharmacy in St. John's, apply for pharmacy in LIU. Apply for you know, pre-whatever. But apply, get in, and then make your decision. Because if you don't get in, you will regret not applying to other schools. So it's better to apply, pay the, you know, write that extra essay, pay that extra admission fee. I mean, like registration, whatever it's called, to apply, application fee. And yeah, good luck.
On that note, I'd just like to add a couple of things, because like you were saying, it's important to apply to multiple places, and you should categorize your schools into different categories. You should apply to schools that probably would be a reach school, a place where you think that you might not get into. But you know what? I have a lot of friends who said, I'm going to apply to this school and probably won't get in. And were surprised when they got an acceptance letter for that school, and that's the school they went to, like Columbia or Harvard or Yale or etc. Okay? On the other hand, you don't want to just apply to those, because you know, not everybody is a genius and not everybody gets into those schools. You want to apply to middle of the ground schools that you probably have a good chance at getting into. Might be a little bit competitive, but you know, you have a good chance of getting in. So I would apply to 2 or 3 or 4 of those. Okay, and then finally, I would also apply to what I would call safety schools. So when next year comes around and I didn't get a single acceptance letter from any of the good schools, I have an acceptance letter from like Queens College or a place that I'm very, very highly likely to get, and it's not very competitive, and usually they accept most applicants who submit an application. So that's kind of a good way to categorize. And like when I was applying, I applied for medical school, for pre-med, I applied for pharmacy, I applied for just general college as well. So you have to play the game so that you play your cards right and you get into a good school that you want.
Just one, well, second to last, I promised you like second to last, like 4 hours ago, but we're going to cover dorming just really briefly, but I'm going to mention one thing. Some of you might not know what you want to major in right now. You might be confused. You might want to go into college and not declare a major, because some schools don't, unless you're going into a program, they don't necessarily need you to declare a major, at least for the first year. While you're able to do that with the colleges, it's it's not the most recommended thing in the world. Because, like so many people said here, you want to have a destination. And so you want to be able to take classes that will later advance your career. And also advance you in kind of the right path. And so while you can be undecided because you take a lot of core classes, which are general to all fields, again, you want to be able to take your electives and maybe save yourself some time at the end of college, so you can graduate a semester early or whatnot because you knew what you wanted to do earlier on. So again, you don't necessarily need to decide right now. You have a year, but again, it's more recommended because, as they said, you kind of have a destination and you know where you're going and you know what classes to take, and you save yourself a lot of time and a lot of kind of pressure later on. If Myrna and Bishoy can come up, they're just going to discuss pros and cons of dorming, and then we will wrap up.
Hello, how are you guys? Yeah, all right. So me and Myrna both dormed at City College, same school, but we had different experiences there. So we will share our experiences, and you guys can decide. So I personally have loved dorming. I dormed in the same building for 3 years. This is my third year. My first year I didn't have, so my first semester at college I commuted. I live on Staten Island, and I go to City College, which is about 2 hours away by public transportation each way. So it was 4 hours of transit total per day, which I could have spent studying or hanging out, doing whatever. So I decided that it would be better for me to dorm. And I dormed my second semester, and I had a really bad roommate. But nonetheless, it was great not commuting, and I did a lot better. Well, I did well academically that semester. Then I picked another roommate who I knew, who I was close to, and that's just been so much better. Like, having a roommate that is just a good person, who's clean, who doesn't leave dishes in the sink like I do, who doesn't leave their clothes lying around often, just makes it so much easier. And also having a roommate who's your friend, someone that in the end of the day you can just go back and unload to, that's awesome, because it's just great to have that. And I love dorming. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, there will be drugs, there will be alcohol, there will be women. But be strong. And if you hold on to what you have inside of you, you guys will be good. And we can talk more about that if you would like. But here's Myrna.
Hi. I dormed my freshman year of college also, and I hated it. Dorming was the worst experience of my life. The only thing that was good about it was that I didn't have to take the subway to school, so I could sleep more before class. I hated my roommate. She was horrible. She used to bring her boyfriend over every day, and they used to stay for a very long time and do things that I don't want to talk about. And I hated having to share a shower with people. I hated that I had to figure out how to feed myself. You have to do your own laundry, which I didn't. I brought it home every weekend because I also went home whenever I could, to the point where my room was like vacant like 3/4 of the time, so my roommate had a single. So then when I did come back, she was really unhappy. It was very loud when I tried to study outside of my room because my roommate was there with her boyfriend, so I couldn't study in the room. So I studied outside of the room, and it was loud because no one else studied except like me and Bishoy. And now I like it more. Just because after commuting, you realize that there are perks to dorming. That it's just like you don't have to wake up 2.5 hours before your class to get to school, and then you're not falling asleep in class. And then I got to nap in between classes, which I do a lot.
I have a couple of questions, if you don't mind. The first question I have is you decided to dorm because of the long travel, but was there potentially another school where you could have studied the same things closer by? Have you looked into that option, and why did you decide to go to the further away school? Yeah, so all the schools I applied to 5 schools. All of them were dorming distance. The closest geographically school that I got accepted to was the school I go to now, City College. Why? I mean, it kind of goes back to what Myrna was saying, of like having to do her own laundry, having to cook. There's an independence to that. Like, I take care of myself. I feed myself. I do my laundry. I do all the stuff that Mama used to do, you know. And then there's that sense of independence. Like, everyone here knows how great my father's kufta is, and like where he learned that was when he lived by himself in Jordan, having to take care of himself. Like, you learn a lot of skills when you don't depend on anyone, and I personally have loved that because you really learn a lot. So I mean, I wanted to leave home and I wanted to have that experience.
So that was a decision that you made. How about how cost effective that decision would be when you graduate college?
Do you want to take this? Okay, so Myrna got a free year at dorms because of the Macaulay Honors Program. I paid for a year and a half, but now I don't pay because I have scholarship support. So if you go out, we talked about scholarships last week. If you go out of your way and you try to get scholarships and you can pay, you don't have to pay that much for college. There's no reason that you should have to pay for all of your college. If you're proactive about getting scholarships, you will get them. So if I had to pay for it, it wouldn't have been cost effective at all. But I do.
Could you explain why?
Why it's not cost effective?
Yeah.
So my dorm is about $1,100 a year for a room that I share. Yeah.
Per year?
For 1 year in Harlem. Yeah. For a room that I share with someone. Yeah. Okay. And so what would have been cost effective is getting an apartment. So Myrna just moved into an apartment.
Okay, so I just moved into an apartment. I pay like $1,000 a month, which I would have paid $11,000 a year for the dorms, and I have my own room, I have my own bathroom, I have my own everything, and it's across the street from school, so it's closer to school than the dorms were. The dorms I had to walk, it was a 13-minute-and-a-half walk. It was timed so I could get to class on time. Yeah, and it's a lot cheaper, it's a lot better, so...
Yeah, so it would have been more cost effective to get an apartment. I'm trying to move out next year. If anyone has any apartments in the area, let me know. Any other questions from the crowds? Yeah, what's up? Absolutely.
I'm really like 100% opposed to dorming for an 18 and 19-year-old person. We live in New York City. If you're applying to a very like Yale, where you have to go out of state, then yes, dorm. But if you're going to go to Queens College, or you're going to go to St. John's, or you're going to go to Fordham or whatever, take the train or take a car. You know, there's really no need to live in New York City and dorm. If you're going to get into a graduate program after your 4 years, where you're going to get an advanced degree, then dorm. Sorry, I know your parents are going to probably, but it's the truth. You live in New York City, there's really no need to take, you know, $11,000 on top of your $35,000 that you're going to be paying for St. John's. There's no need, guys. Take the train or get a car.
I disagree. I'm just saying. We have a disagreement of opinions, and you'll always get people that disagree about dorming. It's really what works for you financially, but be careful financially. Like, don't just you know, go into college thinking my parents are going to pay for it. You know, they got me on loans, they got me on an apartment, on dorm, whatever. They were able to get scholarships. Are you able to get scholarships? Are you going to take the time to apply if that's important to you? And so be financially aware also when you're in college. That's 4 years plus grad school. If your parents or you are paying, that's still kind of money coming out of the pocket.
I want to add to that because I kind of lived that cost-effective problem. Where we, for a certain amount of time, myself and my wife had to be away from home to live outside of, to go to school. And we're still paying for student loans. And, you know, we both have pretty good jobs that pay very well. But it's the loans that you take out for college, if you're going to take out extra loans to start to go somewhere else too. And whereas you could just take the subway for $2 a day, it really, the cost never accrues. Is it $2.20? I'm sorry. But back in my day, it was only 50 cents. But $1.50 I'm paying. No, but honestly speaking, to pay extra for the dorming doesn't make any sense when there are plenty of schools in New York that are very close, driving distance, train distance, etc. And you have to realize that whatever amount of money that you take out on loans now, it's not free money. You have to pay that back, and you're going to pay that back for the rest of your life if you don't get it. You know what I mean? So all these things accrue. And so they might be in a good shape. They probably are okay because they're getting scholarships for it, like they were saying.
But if you're not going to get scholarships for it, then you're going to probably accrue so much loans that you're going to feel like it's very, very difficult to pay that back out.
Sorry, one final point. It's even more than financially. You know yourself. There's a lot of temptations in dorming. Troy mentioned some of them. There's a lot of them. And so you could just kind of give yourself the benefit of the doubt, like, oh no, I'm strong, I'll still go to church on Sunday, I'll still do this and that. Be honest with yourself. If you're not going to be able to maintain and manage and stay away from those temptations, you'd probably need to stay at home. And there's nothing wrong with that, because you can grow independently, you can cook for yourself and learn cook stuff at home too with your mom. Like, you're able to do that, but you stay away from the temptation. I mean, again, it's about the person, it's about your family, what they think, what you think, and kind of decide together. Any other questions? Okay, thank you guys.